So back before Godzilla vs Kong came out, I remember finding out that MechaGodzilla was going to appear in the film. And I have to admit, I was kind of bummed that Mecha-G wasn't getting its own proper versus Godzilla film. And in the same respect, I thought that Godzilla and Kong each deserved their own stage. So for a video, I wrote out what I would do with the Monsterverse phases after GVK. I used mostly Toho monsters as I didn't want to keep saying, new legendary titan, and I tried to pay homage to Toho Godzilla films with new updates, like Marvel movies do with the comics. However, for some reason, I went on to do another video and forgot all about the outline that I had created. But then I found it again the other day, and I realized there was some amazing ideas here. So I polished it up, and here it is. A look at part 1 of my forgotten version of the Monsterverse, with 6 movies from phases 2 and 3. To start off with, I had to tie up Godzilla vs Kong in order to go forward, so I set it up so that Godzilla is drawn to Skull Island because he senses something that's stirring beneath it. He's not there for Kong, but Kong's going to confront him anyway, as he's another alpha that's trespassing on his island. He would hold his own in the first match as it is his territory, but he would eventually retreat when the atomic breath started spamming. For their second fight, Kong keeps his distance, but he eventually gets too close and is caught up by a tail swipe. It's enough to slow him down, where Godzilla then tears him up, burning much of his body. But just then, we see a bright asteroid as it streaks across the sky and Godzilla leaves to follow it. The island has been destroyed and is now on fire from the fight, and that something beneath the island is now moving. Kong feels the ground rumble and a new titan breaks through the ground. Now Kong is wasted from his fight with Godzilla, so he tackles the monster and they tumble into the hollow earth. We don't go in, we just see the two fall, and are left to wonder if either of them survived. I did have in my notes that this new titan could be Megalon, as he is an underground dwelling kaiju. Phase 2, Monster Island. With Skull Island burned up and destroyed, Titan survivors have made their way to a new island now dubbed Monster Island. Also on the island are 2 Mothra larvae and an Elder Anguirus. Monarch finds out that there's a new power source on or near the island that is drawing these Titans in, and it turns out to be the Millennium alien ship. It's buried off the coast, but it's been activated recently, though it hasn't moved. But Orga is buried with it, and it awakens and makes its way onto the island and fights the 2 Mothra larvae, defeating them and driving them off the island. An old battle-weary Anguirus then confronts Orga, but he is outmatched. He calls out to Godzilla and then holds his own for a bit, but it's too late. The Anguirus is killed just as Godzilla arrives and takes the fight to Orga. A CGI Orga could move better than the original one could, but Godzilla still rips a chunk out of its leg, allowing him to kill it with an atomic blast to the head. We then see the Millennium ship rise out of the water and fly up to space. Godzilla then leaves the island and the larvae return. We then see that Monarch has discovered either an Anguirus egg or a youngling, whichever one works best, the notes say. And then next up is Kong Lives. A play, of course, on King Kong Lives. Here Kong would emerge from the hollow earth with no sighting of Megalon, but Kong's alive and he's looking for a new home. The Titan Amhaluk has recently moved into Monster Island, looking to be its alpha, and Godzilla hasn't responded, so Monarch moves Kong to the island thinking that he could drive off Amhaluk and gain a new home at the same time. Kong is defeated in their first encounter, but Monarch was helping him in the fight and inadvertently set a section of the island on fire. Kong then uses this to corner Amhaluk, and using a massive tree as a torch is able to badly burn and drive him back into the sea. And now to a Godzilla film with Godzilla Vs Biollante. The Big G hasn't been seen since Monster Island, but now an unknown group has gained access to Godzilla cells from one of his earlier battles, and they've managed to cross them with a plant. It grew out of control incredibly fast, much faster than they projected, and it ends up covering an entire city in just a matter of hours. Godzilla makes an entrance, but he seems to just be watching, hesitant to attack as he senses kinship in the creature. But Biollante doesn't have this moment of pause and attacks Godzilla. He's able to blast away vast sections of the plant, but she is massive and able to cover him in poisons, eventually knocking him out. He then wakes up in darkness. She has grown around him and is attempting to digest him. He charges up and sends out a pulse attack, tearing away the new growth, and climbs out of the plant titan. His skin burnt up and eaten away in parts, he is now enraged, utilizing atomic pulses and breath attacks, setting the entire area on fire. Biollante is burnt up in the destruction, and her essence floats up to the sky. Biollante's creation was just too much for Godzilla's relationship with mankind, and he raids the nearby cities for the next 2 hours, before he turns and heads out to the ocean. And the last film of Phase 2 would be Godzilla BC. Now this film was talked about after King of the Monsters, so I'll include it here. It would cover the mind-controlled Titan Wars that were talked about in the credits of King of the Monsters and show how Godzilla managed to get Ghidorah frozen in the ice. It features a prehistoric version of Mothra that helps Godzilla, and maybe even Scylla, who many think could have helped freeze the water, as it was somehow able to slow the melting of ice after King of the Monsters. Phase 3, Godzilla Vs Gigan. The outline for Godzilla vs. Gigan I left unchanged, and I made it before I knew plot leaks for Godzilla vs. Kong, and surprisingly, its story is very similar to what we got in GBK. Gigan is created by Monarch due to Godzilla's rampage after Biollante. It's the resurrected body of an unknown titan made into a cyborg. Godzilla then starts destroying Monarch facilities, and they think he's doing it because of Biollante, which we do find out that they did have a hand in creating. But Godzilla is actually searching for Gigan. He finds it and it activates and nearly kills him, slicing him up really bad before he's able to escape back into the water. But it doesn't stop after driving off Godzilla and starts attacking cities searching for more titans. Godzilla heals up for a few days and then confronts Gigan once more and is again losing, but this time a young Anguirus shows up to join the battle. He manages to avoid the chest blade this time, and all three are bloody and beaten by the end, where Gigan would retreat into space. And here is where MechaG shows up in my Monsterverse for Godzilla vs MechaGodzilla. The world's governments have created G-Force after Monarch's failure to control the Titans. Because Monarch was unable to control the cyborg Gigan, they decide to go full mechanical, making MechaGodzilla. It's unleashed on Godzilla and is able to defeat him easily in their first match using advanced weaponry designed to absorb Godzilla's nuclear energy to help power itself. We're then introduced to Godzilla Jr. as it's woken up when a team of archaeologists is working on a newly discovered Titanosaurus skeleton. Jr. then teams up with Godzilla, and the two are enough to defeat MechaGodzilla. And that is it, guys, for part 1. We'll take a look at the rest of Phase 3 along with the 4 movies from Phase 4 in part 2 of my lost version of Monsterverse. I had a blast reading through this again and fleshing it out, and I hope you enjoyed it too. What was your favorite film from part 1? Let's discuss in the comments, and as always guys, your likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions go a long way towards helping the channel grow. Take care, and I hope to see you next time.